Hello and welcome to Bargain Binners, the podcast about the films we found at the bottom of the cinematic barrel. I'm Andy.
I'm Gareth.
And I'm Aidan.
And our mission is simple. Each week, one of us will nominate a film for the rest of us to discuss, but with one rule. They must have purchased a film for no more than one of our measly British pounds, which is worth about 30 cents everywhere else. And this week, it's my turn to nominate, so I have regurgitated a film that has lurked in the dark depths of my DVD collection. That film is none other than Queen's Messenger, a shameless James Bond ripoff starring Gary Daniels, who is surely the love child of Daniel Craig and Jai Courtney, but most often possesses the voice talents of Dick Van Dyke. Fights, slow-paced chases, and small explosions follow in this moderate octane thriller. And no Bond ripoff could be without some iconic dialogue, and Queen's Messenger has such memorable lines as "I'm clean, lads, just had a bath," and "toilet now."
I have some things to say about toilet now.
Oh, and Christoph Waltz is the main villain. But before that, it's time to roll the trailer.
Diplomat. Queen's Messenger.
You know where Kazakhstan is?
The president of Kazakhstan, Mr. Aman Kazam, was on his way to Parliament when the car bomb exploded. There will be more bombs here in Kazakhstan, and the terrorist rebels led by Ali Ben Sam continue their violent, bloody campaign to seize power.
In this case is a personal letter from the Prime Minister to Qasim. You will deliver it.
Looking at.
So I'm sure this is a film you are not familiar with, as there's barely any info about this film on the net. But I must say, I won this film in a game of Pass the Parcel at my nephew's naming day.
I believe that was the official distribution method of the movie, actually.
Yeah, it's my sister-in-law's friend Paul, who is very famous for
being a producer on this movie.
But he always does very elaborate pass the parcels at like events, so like kids' birthday parties and naming days and stuff.
Mostly dildos.
Filled with disappointment.
Yeah, because I think Jess has got another film from another Pass the Parcel that we could possibly do on this show at some point. I think it's Kentucky Fried Zombie.
What?
Yeah, so that's definitely another one on the list.
Maybe we found the new way we pick films.
Yeah. So yeah, I did actually get this film for free, but as you can clearly see on the label there, it's proudly stated 20p from Cash Converters.
It fits the Cash Converters.
It's definitely a Cash Converters movie, yeah.
Somebody handed that in so that they could pay their gas bill.
And proudly written on this DVD box, I think by Paul himself, is a little label that says knockoff James Bond, so you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys decide whether the original 20p purchase amount was worthy.
Well...
But
for me, 100%. I'm saying that right now.
But also that the entire film is available to view in full on YouTube, which is as much of a seal of approval as you can get. Either that, no one gives a fuck.
To be honest, I'm like, when I'm searching for films for this show, a lot of them are just simply available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just in full. Because that's the only way that you can ever see them or obtain them now.
Yeah. I remember when we did that Slipstream, like that was the only way you could watch it, was on YouTube for free. But so what did you guys think of Queen's Messenger?
Well, actually, speaking about your Dick Van Dyke line, the top comment on YouTube is actually, I thought this was Mary Poppins when I heard the accents at the beginning.
Yeah.
Looks like total shit. which really like kind of set the scene for me. And at the time when I read it, there was a man like zip lining into a Welsh military warehouse or something like that for some sort of training exercise. I was like, God, I wish Mary Poppins started this way. It would be a far more interesting film. But at the same time, when somebody started with some little Irish jig or chanty, I was like, oh, I totally get it. Because everybody sounds like a stock Victorian English character or UK, especially the Irish fella.
Yeah, there's a bit where the guy goes, shut it, Irish.
Well, it's clearly that they're like all Bulgarian trying to do their best English accent. But I said that this collection of actors, they sound like they've all been lined up to get kicked in the head by a donkey.
Yeah.
Is the main guy, the guy who plays Strong, is he British?
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I know that's it. It's his delivery. He seems to struggle with English words, like just normal words, because it seems like he puts spaces between words where there shouldn't be spaces. So it sounds like he's a little bit on the slow side, like he's Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Yeah, it is weird, though, because I found that his accent veered wildly from scene to scene. Like, there were some scenes where, especially towards the beginning, where he was full on Dick Van Dyke, failing hard at doing a Courtney accent. And then at other times, it seemed to settle down and it's kind of more like in his ordinary voice. And I swear, if you shut your eyes, it just sounded exactly like Daniel Craig. It was a bit weird, but it wasn't consistent at all throughout the entire film. It was just all over the place.
No, it was whenever he was like tasked with being the action hero, the hard man, you know. That's when the accent really came to the surface. But any scene which it was just like people talking in a room, it seemed to settle down.
Yeah. I did sort of look up Gary Daniels because I've never heard of him before, but he does seem to have starred in an awful lot of these types of films throughout the 90s.
Yeah.
He's actually a former kickboxing champion.
That's obvious.
Yeah, and his other credits include films like American Street Fighter, Full Impact, White Tiger, and many other stock titles. So
I want to see many other stock titles.
He actually did co-star in the live-action Tekken movie and the sequel to that film. And he is actually featured as a character called the Brit in the very first Expendables movie.
Which means he definitely dies. He's definitely some sort of villainous henchman that gets killed off.
He's like, obviously within that film, you've got like the top tier action stars and then the second tier, and he's kind of part of the third tier.
The extras.
Yeah. Although actually, if you look on, he's actually got quite high billing on the Expendables.
I think he's one of those actors because he's like known for being one of these lower budget action heroes. I think The Expendables, given that film is like a celebration of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are right. They bring in like everybody, the top tier and the lower tier.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see those films again, but that's what I quite like in essence what they're doing with those films because they're celebrating people that don't really often get celebrated on a theatrical level.
Yeah.
But then when I see something like The Queen's Messenger, I'm like, maybe he shouldn't be celebrated.
Apparently, this was reading people's comments on this film. Like, this is the end of the golden age of Gary Daniels films.
This is peak Daniels.
Yeah, this is peak Daniels, or the start of the decline. I think I'm not quite
This
sure.
is the fall of the Daniels cinematic universe.
I'm not sure whether it's something that you picked up on if you did any like research on this film because there's very little on the net about this.
Yeah, I couldn't find much at all, to be honest.
But there is another film
I did
starring
see that,
this characters called Witness to a Kill. And for the life of me, I can't work out whether it's a sequel or whether it's the first film because it looks like they came out roughly around the same time. I'm pretty sure that this is the first film and Witness to a Kill is the second film. But I think it's one of those jobbies where they film them back to back.
Somebody on a review mentioned it being Witness to a Kill being the first film, but the way that they are listed on IMDb is that Witness to a Kill is the one that came out after this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this...
And the way that this one sets up the character, I think this is definitely the first one.
Wait, I didn't research as heavy as you guys. Is this a prequel? Does the same character?
There's a sequel to this film called Witness to a Kill.
It's a porno.
Oh,
which is an obvious ripoff of A View to a Kill. It features Gary Daniels and John Standing again as the sort of M foreign secretary character. but they're the only characters that carry across, which...
the M foreign secretary character is definitely like Eastern European mail-in bride.
Oh, yeah. I love that she's on the box. She's on the box and she has, 7 lines of dialogue?
Yeah. I was trying to work this out because it was funny. I was watching this upstairs and then Jess came in around the time that during her last scene.
And then you turned around like, it's research! kind of just try and cover yourself up.
But she just came and said, like, there's no way that she's Italian. But I did look it up and she's genuinely Italian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm not quite sure what happened. It seems to me that they were building her character up for a sequel, but she's not in Witness to a Kill, and obviously there's no third movie, so I don't understand why she's there in the first place.
So you're telling me there's space. I can really like carve out a name doing the third Captain Strong movie.
Yeah. But it's interesting with that John Standing character because he is basically playing the M.
Because he's mostly John Sitting.
Yeah.
Roll credits!
But he's playing the... But he's playing the M character. But I did look him up on IMDb, but he is actually the official voice of M on radio. So do you know those James Bond radio plays that they do on BBC 4 with Toby Stephens as James Bond, and they do like straight adaptations of the novels? He is actually M.
I'd like to listen
those.
to Toby Jones as James Bond.
Toby Jones. They'd have to call him Jimmy Bond. There's no way.
Jimmy Bond. Yeah.
Little Jimmy Bond. It's weird that it's got a strange mixture of like proper B-movie stars and then some people have actually been in proper stuff. So like John Standing is like, if you look at his credits, he's been in lots and lots of different things, like proper stuff.
I know that we all here have been involved with these type of people as well that make these type of films.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, knowing how they do it, they just simply get this actor for a day. They get more of a pay than some of the lead actors do that have like 3 or 4 times the amount of screen time.
Yeah.
They're on set for 2 days. They mostly sat down delivering exposition and then they get to leave. It's like an easy payday. I mean, imagine that Uwe Boll, that's how he like set up his entire empire when he was busy, frauding the taxman in Germany.
That's what I kind of thought about Christoph Waltz.
Oh,
really.
yeah.
When he first appears, he's very much kept in the dark. And then I kind of think, is that a metaphor for how he was kept in the dark about the quality of the film as well?
I imagine
that he was in.
Once Christoph Waltz got on set and saw the type of film that he was in, he was like, more shadow, please.
Yeah.
I want to be seen. I want to be seen less. Could he turn out more lights?
Because he's moving his hands in his sort of flamboyant way. But you can't see anything, so you just see these 2 shoulder stumps, just sort of. It looks like he's mamboing or something.
He's doing
in the
a lot
dark.
of shoulder acting.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy had really intimidating shoulders.
He got his point across with those top stumps.
But yeah, he was definitely on set for 3 days max on this film. Like, there's no way he was there for longer than that.
I just want to say as well, just while I had mentioned as well, that in terms of the comments on YouTube that I'd seen, because I did decide to go through them, and they're not all that great, but there is one that did caught my eye, and it's just the one that made me laugh the most, and it just simply read, brutal shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
It's like what happens after you eat Taco Bell. I've got just talking about the kicks. Actually, I've got funnily enough, I've got more notes on this than the other 2 episode notes combined. So talking about the fact that he was a kickboxer, I didn't know that. I didn't research into him, so I've just got guy can actually kick. But then I was like, guy can only kick.
That's his one skill.
Because like, if it's supposed to be James Bond styly. But this guy is just like flipping around and doing roundhouses and everything non-stop to every bad guy. And I'm sure there's a bit where he kicks off his shoe to hit someone in the face even.
I'm sure he has a gun. Like in that scene in that car park with those henchmen that were like not even henchmen, the thugs that were trying to mug the lady. And he literally is like main move is kicking off his shoe into one of the faces. I was like,
he's going for the gun,
my
isn't
friend.
he?
You're just use it.
I thought because he acts drunk, I thought he was going to drunkenly come up to them, get the money out, and then attack them.
Yeah.
But then he changes his mind. He goes, actually, no, she's not my thing. Or she's not my style. Or
Yeah.
and then he backs off just so he's got enough space to do the shoe move.
Yeah, that line, the way he delivers it as well, it's like, no, actually, I'm a prick. See ya.
Can we talk about the opening credits, actually? Because I thought it was going for a sort of intense opening kind of thing, even though it was set against Microsoft Word and Excel slides. Then you hear the bad accents, and there's a couple of flashbangs, and there's a green one for some reason. I think that's a certain type of one, maybe a magnesium one or something.
Yeah.
There's a green flashbang, which is weird. But then it goes back to the credit sequence.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And I just thought it was
It's
really
a choice.
weird. Yeah.
But I imagine with the credits, what happened was they thought in planning, I use planning very, very loosely, but in planning, they probably thought, yes, what we'll do is we'll have this little sequence at the beginning, we'll fit all of our credits between them, and then the movie will start. And then they didn't actually have enough footage or unique shots in order to fit all of the credits between that sequence. so it was like, they just had to fit as much as they could, and then it's like, and here's the rest!
Did you notice the cameo just when he gets to the mansion where the who's playing the butler?
No.
It's George Lucas.
That's something to make it almost worth going through again.
It really does look like him.
I do like in that whole scene though where he has the meeting with the M character, and one of the lines is, "Do you know where Kazakhstan is?" And I literally wrote next, "Of course, I've seen Borat."
That scene also has one of our big bugbears when we watch films, is the old trick of the news footage just being footage from the film that they've not even made any attempt to make look like actual news footage. There's literally no effort. You can see the film grain and everything.
She's got a great line in that news report. There's like an explosion behind, and she goes, "I think that was a car blowing up, not another bomb."
And she actually says, like, as a reporter, she says, "There will be more bombs." And she says it almost like a threat. And I was like, if you're going to start your investigation anywhere, start it with the reporter that's promising that there will be more bombs. She sounds like the Joker.
Is it a threat or is it a promise?
I actually wrote as well at that point that, this is clearly just some Z-list actor that they threw on for this particular scene, and that she wasn't going to appear again. Little did I know she was going to be the main love interest for the remainder of the film.
He says something to the TV, doesn't he? He's like, "She's worth looking at."
Yeah,
or something like that.
That's it. Yeah,
that's foreshadowing their romantic relationship.
Yeah, and also the fact that the news network is called ZNN.
Zombie News Network.
I don't know what the Z stands for.
And then so he gets to the airport, doesn't he? And and there's that really flamboyant guy who actually isn't a thug. They've just sort of hired him or given him money to get him into that bathroom. And then you've got the guy with the sort of the bent cheese knife thing. Yeah. And he walks up to him at one side of the room, and then he moves to the other side, and then he walks to him to the other side of the room, and eventually it all kicks off. And he's got this machine gun. From the sound of the Foley, there should be lots of bullet holes and there should be lots of bullets, but instead there's only about 5 that pop out of it. If you look at the bullet holes on the wall and stuff like that, this machine gun's shooting off loads, but then where are these bullets going?
It costs money to dress the set, so
this whole scene really is, I don't know, this is going to be like the thing that I find I concentrate on most, because I had to rewind it a couple of times because it was just an embarrassment of riches when it came to writing my notes. The first thing that I wanted
the famous
to mention,
toilet now scene.
Exactly. Like, the thing is, if you are a henchman and you want to get somebody into a place where you can jump them, essentially, the toilet really isn't the place to do it. Nobody ever really say to somebody else, like, when I meet you, Andy, I don't say, "You look like you really need a shit. Toilet over there, mate." And the way his response is, he's like, "I went on the plane." And that isn't the smart ass response that you think it is. Like, "I've already had a shit."
I don't buy it.
Shaken, not stirred.
I don't buy it. Most people need some form of shit, shit, when they come off a plane, or like at least a piss or something.
Makes sense to me.
Maybe I'm the outsider on this. I don't like strangers coming up to me and just simply forcing me into a toilet. It's happened far too many times.
It depends if the outcome's good or bad, guys.
Yeah, it depends how happy the ending
Yeah.
is. But this whole section, like, it's supposed to be an airport, and it's clearly just a dressed-up abandoned hotel. And then when he escapes through the toilet window, he finds himself in some like Eastern European estate, just with tower blocks. There's not an airport in sight, and so begins the slowest car chase I've ever seen, with him on his little dirt bike that seems to be like capped at about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say everything's going about 20 miles an hour.
I mean, they could have got some faster edits in there or some different angles, but they kept
The cutting's
they
terrible.
kept cutting to the wide shot
wide,
of this
that was it.
bike, and it was just dreadful. It was like they were obviously keeping to the speed limits just fine.
Yeah, it's like there's no reference to how fast they're going because it's like wide shot, but like from dead on, so you can just see him coming towards you. But I think they did that to try and hide the fact that he was probably going about 20 miles an hour. But it didn't help that the cutting was so slow as well in those sequences. Like they're obviously trying to milk every single shot to make the film longer.
I wrote that it was the safest car chase I've seen.
Yeah.
In a way that it seemed to be the antithesis of what we saw on Nemesis. I feel like even the camera placement, because it's so far away and so wide, it's like they've said, well, here's the safe space that we can really film this whole footage from, really, where none of the crew was in any possible danger whatsoever. And they've gone, what if we double that space? You know, and gone further out. Whereas with Nemesis, it was more like, we don't care if this massive chimney crushes the crew and cast as long as we get the shot. I feel like there's a middle ground between both these films where everything just works.
Yeah.
But the best part was where he just gets in between that little container and the stairs, and it's supposed to be this really small gap. And I'm sure he spends like about 7 seconds getting his bike leveled up to go through the small gap.
I want to know who thought it would be cool to write some of the let me start that again with words. I want to know who
Your notes are
signed
just the
off.
English dictionary.
What I'm trying to say is some of the insults that they have are just so 90s Nickelodeon or like Simpsons, early Simpsons. Because I'm sure near this bit there's a bit where it cuts to one of the guys and he goes, one of the henchmen, and he's like, I want to kill the bonehead.
Yeah.
And I've just half my notes are quotes.
Oh yeah, most of mine are.
When that reporter nearly gets raped and mugged and he kills them with his shoe, she responds by going, son of a gun, where the heck did you learn that? Or did you come from? I was like, that is the most like PG way of saying it whatsoever.
Oh, this is something I want to talk about because I think you obviously watched the same version of the film that I saw, but there seemed to be a heck of a lot of
a heck of a lot.
You've
seen this too many times.
Yeah, a heck of a lot of bad dubbing.
This is your audition for the Queen's Messenger 3.
But yeah, there seems to be a lot of bad dubbing, like to cover over things, and it's very clear when you watch it that she's saying son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And they've redubbed it as son of a gun. Mm-hmm. And there's many, many examples of that. Either whether they've sort of tried to clean it up, even though on the box it's clearly a 15, which it shouldn't be because they've taken out all the profanity.
Was there an X-rated cut of this
Yeah.
film?
Or lines that they've added.
Yeah.
Because there's some really obvious dubbing in this film where they've just pasted over bits. I think there's some like Sir Desmond lines later on where they've dubbed him. But yeah, it goes throughout the entire film where it's just some really like shoddy cut and paste. We'll cover that over because we're not allowed to do that in Bulgaria or something.
Yeah. I have one last thing to say about the bike chase, by the way, just before we do move on from that. And that is the ending of the bike chase where he jumps over the monument and knocks off the statue and knocks it off. Yeah. And then he lands on the other side. And the henchman pulls up in his car, and he must be only about 50 yards away. And he gets out with his gun, and then Captain
Doesn't
Strong
shoot him.
drives away in a straight line. And the guy takes aim and then gives up, like,
it's too far.
Got away
Too
once
far.
again. I was like, I guarantee, sir, that your bullets travel faster than his shitty 20-mile-an-hour bike. And instead, the film does something that that you very rarely see in films as well, in that it doesn't cut away. It just hangs on the henchman for a while as he kind of just defeatedly walks back and forward in front of his car. And it made me think, like, this is what
Machines gun the
NPC
statue.
characters from Grand Theft Auto are like when nobody's looking at them.
Yeah, he does his pace back and forth, and then he goes, right, I've got to get to my marker to start angrily shooting the thing so that they can set off all the little mini explosions that are set up and everything.
I feel like he forgot about it. And I was like, oh,
Maybe he
shit.
took his time. Like he was thinking, "This is my moment to shine." so he wasn't supposed to pace. He was supposed to just not get the shot and go and shoot. But instead, he does his walk up and down. Then he gets back in the car, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we very rarely get to see these characters just like in their everyday life when the action's not happening. Just like this felt like a really revealing character moment for me. Just me. We also get as well, like, because we've talked about it, immediately following is the fight in the car park and his line of just a nice bit of crumpet.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's written that down, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
brilliant.
haven't mentioned that lady taxi driver with the ABBA references.
God, yeah.
Well, the ABBA. Was she quoting ABBA?
Yeah. Thank you for the music.
Does she say thank you for the music?
Yeah. And there was money, money, money. That's the other one.
Yeah, that was going to say, yeah, that's the other ABBA one that comes up.
I just love the gravitas that they afford her death later on. It's the most tragic death in the film. And also the way that they shot it, you cannot see that she's dead. Like it's so underlit that you cannot tell what they're there's a music sting.
There is,
and
yeah.
they react, and you cannot see what
No
they're
idea.
reacting to. And until it pans across, like about 5 seconds later.
That's just after they've exited the building, the casino.
The
that's
casino,
called
yeah.
Casino. Like it's got no other name. It's just got in lights Casino.
And it's totally just someone's house. Like
Well,
it's just
I think the whole film, like the whole Bulgarian section of the film, was shot around like the same abandoned hotel.
yeah.
The casino was probably on one side a casino and on the other side a Bulgarian yak milk farm. Probably doubled up that way. Save costs.
I'd say put a bet on yak. Sorry.
Yakety yak. Don't go back. So it's after this the scene where the taxi driver is dead, and then they go and have the snow forest scene, right?
And the guy shoots the horn of the car. And the henchman turns around like, puny human. I think he even says, like, you puny idiot. I was like, fucking hell, they've got the Hulk.
I've just got this bit where it's like, don't eat red snow, kids, because they've obviously used some blood on the snow that's just too bright.
Yeah.
And
It's like predator blood.
I did like the fact that he was hidden in the snow, though. I mean, I did kind of was like, yes, strong. That's how you do it.
You might imagine you shouting at the TV going, yes, strong.
Yeah, fist jumps up.
So manly.
Yeah.
I like as well, like this film falls into a category that I love for action films of this type, in which somebody gets their neck snapped by just having their head turned very quickly to like the right or left. Like he swings down from a tree and he literally just very gently moves this guy's head.
Yeah.
And you get the crack sound effect and he falls dead. And all you need at that point is someone to like shout out, "No, you killed Johnny Waferneck."
His neck was very delicate.
Yeah, he was. He'd just come back from that spinal surgery.
I shouldn't be out here, boss. They said 2 weeks recovery. Come on, you nincompoop.
What's the worst that can happen?
Oh, my God.
But yeah, that main henchman's death is totally not earned at this point in the film. It's far too early.
Yeah.
You could tell that they didn't know how to structure a film at this point where, you know, when you start killing characters that you just set up. I mean, the stuff at the end where you can tell that they're underrunning and they're having to fill out the film.
Yeah, that whole Garth Marenghi thing again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the casino edition, the extra shootout with the French guy with the. Does he have a monobrow? A fake monobrow? The beret guy.
That's Frida Kahlo.
But he doesn't have a monobrow normally.
I don't know. I don't know him personally.
Well, it bugged me, right? Just I don't need no Uno eyebrow henchman. Takes away from his stellar performance.
Is that the one that gets burnt up at the end?
Yeah.
You get that POV shot where he goes up to the two guards and he stabs one of them. And then the camera very slowly pans to the other one, and he's just stood there like, da-da-da, just like nothing else has happened.
If anything's like an NPC in a computer game, it's that. When you're like in Assassin's Creed or in Grand Theft Auto and you've stabbed one, and the other's just there, just running the script that they're programmed to do AI-wise. And then, yeah, he just slowly inserts the knife into the other guy. It's such a delicate stab.
I appear to be getting stabbed. Oh, wow, what a horrible end to this Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole end bit is like, I think the actual film ends at around about 75 minutes or something.
You and I, Aidan.
I'm just still on. This is much worse than you would think it is.
You know what? I'm in a terrible amount of pain.
I'm about to die soon. Toodaloo.
At least my friend is okay.
That scene was fucking stupid. I mean, it was beyond stupid. Imagine how you would get direction if you're the actor about how to die in that scene, in that situation. So don't react to him the normal,
At
like
all.
a normal.
Yeah, ignore all of your instincts.
And instead, try to hold back the emotion and just look at him. And then when you get stabbed, just notice. It's like a meditation exercise. Just be present and just be aware of it.
And then gently lower yourself to the ground.
And with one final breath, scene.
Director crying behind the camera. Like, perfect.
This is it, guys.
Yeah, this made it. You know what? It's scenes like this that make it all worthwhile.
Should we do another one for safety? There's no need. It was pure perfection. Sorry, Andy, you were saying.
Where were we up to? Sorry.
No, I was just saying that whole scene like feels like they added it on later, because it's like the film ends at about 75 minutes. And then there's like 4 or 5 minutes where everyone is just shaking hands, like afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
well, thank you, Captain Strong. Thank you. Goodbye.
This is where the coronavirus started.
And I'm like, this film's either just going to end and they don't know how to end the film, or we're going to get a false ending and they're really bad at handling it. And my wish came true. So
When they all say goodbye and they're like, bye, bye, bye,
Yeah.
bye, 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 and he goes, bye, you old Russian trout.
And like I imagine like a shot of the Russian like laughing and then turning to the camera with a single tear just rolling down his cheek.
Yeah, he's more of a cod kind of guy.
I think we need to talk about Klaus.
I see. I don't know any of the names apart from Captain Strong, and that was
right.
because simply he was called Captain Strong.
It
Sounds like a kitchen product, doesn't it? Like for getting rid of blocked drains.
He's Alexi's cameraman.
He was a great character. I think he might have been my favourite
He
character.
gets all the best lines. During that weird protracted ending, he's like, "To the casino to blow all my money."
He keeps saying it.
Yeah. I looked him up actually. He's in Hunt for a Red October.
Is he? Is he in the background of one?
Yeah,
shot,
he's one.
like,
He's
Let's
credited
go
as
to the casino.
Yeah, he's credited as Seaman. So he's one of the. I did watch Hunt for Red October last night, because it kind of through doing the research, I was like, yeah, I fancy watching that again because I've not seen it for a while, and I was trying to spot him, and yeah, he's definitely in the. You can see him. Like,
Oh,
obviously
really?
A lot,
Does he
a
have
lot younger.
any lines or?
No, he's not got any lines. He's just lurks.
Oh, right, that sounds about right.
There's the bit where, just going back to that snow scene at the end, where she comes up to him and she's obviously, are they going to kiss? No, she slaps him and then they kiss. And then if you notice throughout, in any of the kissing scenes, and even in that scene, the kissing foley is really high in the mix.
Oh, I wrote actually down. I'm trying to eat, and there's some horrible like wet sound kissing noises.
Yeah, so yeah. It is a bit distracting.
The best bit though is when they start kissing it, like at the end of that sequence. It's like the camera, the tripod breaks and it goes to Dutch angle. obviously to siege into the love scene, which is all at Dutch angles. It's like they're on a fucking boat or something. But you can actually see the actual tripod wobble as it goes to the Dutch angle to try and cut into the other scene. The cameraman's been really clever, but it's like it just looks like the tripod collapsed at the end of the scene or something.
I think probably the tripod collapsed.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'll just make it work.
Well, yeah. Because I've no idea why the love scene's all at Dutch angles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which film inspired what, but it was very much Battlefield Earth, like the way they filmed that love scene.
It could have been on the back of a lie. Like if they filmed the slap scene first, and the and the tripod falls by accident, and the director's like, "Oh, we need to do one again. There was a mistake," and he goes, "No, it was a creative decision." And then he's like, "Fuck! Now I have to follow the lie on into the next scene." So all the Dutch angles were because of the mistake that he couldn't admit to in the previous scene.
Was anybody talking about the camera angles? Was anybody else taken out of the film when one of the cameras, when a bomb went off near it, suddenly just flew up into the air?
Yes. I've got bomb shot that blew the camera over. Lol. It's one of my notes.
Like, I think it was probably a stylistic thing that they went for, but it seriously just looks like the camera fell over. Like, why would you? Why would you keep
filmed
that in?
accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's totally an accident. There's no way that was planned.
I've also got a quote from around the time of the love scene, and I don't know who says it now. I think it's one of the henchmen again who goes, "You English eyesore."
Yeah.
I want to see the X-rated version of this for what the original dialogue was.
You soppy cunt.
It is. It's going to be all that. You English pig fucker.
For Queen and bloody country. Probably my favourite death in the entire film is when, well, I've never seen somebody drowned in snow before. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
He's got arms and he doesn't use them. He's like a fish. He's just like waggling on the floor while he pushes his face in the snow.
It's like, can't you breathe through a certain amount of snow? I mean, I'm not talking like if you're in an avalanche or anything, but like if you're in like 2 centimeters, there's enough air in that snow for you to breathe.
Yeah, it's all crystals, isn't it? So there must be like air pockets in the middle of it.
The thing is, it is like two centimeters of snow. He could just go and blow it away. There's nothing required. I mean, for some reason, he's not using his arms just to go, to very gently brush the snow from his face. It was my favorite death. But also, I really enjoy the moment in which Captain Strong is taken off to be shot. And then we get that shot of him. He emerges in one of the soldiers that was supposed to shoot him. He emerges in his garb and pulls his fucking balaclava down just so we can see it's him right in front of everybody. I don't think this guy had real training.
No.
There's one scene, funnily enough, which is I think the biggest giveaway of the ADRing. There's a bit where one of the characters goes, "Get out of this mess alive," but his mouth doesn't move.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't move. I don't know why they would bother to include it.
I did write a lot towards the end of it. It just fully became like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, where it's mostly just ADR. They clearly had nothing on the set, and they're just mostly just riffing in a booth. Or even a booth in like someone's kitchen, probably.
Yeah.
No, the outhouse of said yak farm. Just when everything, well, before the casino scene, when everything's sort of wrapped up and done, and before people all say thanks, and Strong sees, what's she called? Alexi. And she comes in. He's like, how did it all look? How did it all go? She's like, well, could be looking at an Emmy for this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so 90s.
Yeah, that's really Garth Marenghi as well. As like, and I got an A.
I've got to ask as well, and this is going to be a common occurrence as well. What was the story? I found it like, it's not so much that I found it as hard to follow as Nemesis. I could understand it on like just about on a scene by scene basis, but at the same time afterwards I was like, I have no fucking idea what that was about.
No,
they kept on calling Christoph Waltz Saddam just to like kind of really set you in that, but I don't know what they were doing.
Can I have a go? And then Andy, can you correct me?
Yeah.
Can you mark his work?
Yeah. Right, so Strong's taken off a task force and then sort of fired and disbarred just so he can be this Queen's messenger to bring this Prime Minister statement over to...
Kazakhstan.
Is it? Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be Kazakhstan, but it's actually Bulgaria.
I'm already fucking up. And then what happens is they're trying to stop it somehow so this guy can get into power who's got nuclear weapons or something from Saddam Hussein, who's actually name dropped.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then, that's all I got up to.
That's pretty much it. Like, that's it. Because, he's just supposed to be delivering this message, which is the Queen's messenger of the title. It's to do with the oil leases with British companies.
Right, yeah, that was the other thing I was going to mention as well, yeah, because I couldn't follow that. But from what's just been described, if he was just allowed to be the Queen's messenger and then return home, would the villain's plan have just gone off without a hitch?
Yeah.
Like, if they just let him do his job, everything that the villain wanted would have happened.
Mm-hmm. Wait, no.
Yeah, because he just sticks.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, he does his job and then he's asked to stick around, and then they go on the helicopter to view. Was it the oil fields? I can't remember. They're going somewhere.
Like that, yeah.
And then they get hijacked by Unibrow, who just comes out of the shadows. That's brilliant. I love how he would have been hiding there for like hours.
Yeah.
Why do they need the Prime Minister's letter in the first place? What do they actually need that for?
Oh, fuck knows. I don't know why they couldn't use the telephone.
Do they need it to some trade agreement or some?
Oh, it's something.
Like Britain are going to help them with
forge
something?
her signature on a check.
But yeah, it's something to do with that. Because that's the Desmond character just asks him to stick around and then they go on that helicopter and it gets hijacked. That's the only reason why he's involved in any of the rest of the film. And if that hadn't happened, there would be no film.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's all circumstance at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's literally the whole story. That there isn't really one. I think somebody described it in a review as like lots of tepid action sequences with a bit of thin dialogue in the middle. Joining them together.
Yeah. And the slowest tank chase you've seen as well.
Oh, that's like a third of the movie. Is that tank chase?
With the worst aim.
I thought just because of the time that this film would have been made in, I think someone had watched GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough and decided to use elements from both. So obviously you've got the oil Kazakhstan plot, which is very similar to the
World Is Not Enough.
Oil Azerbaijan plot in World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
And then you've got things like the tank chase, which was heavily talked about around that time in the aftermath of GoldenEye. It was an incredibly famous sequence.
Yeah.
At that time, and I think, that tank chase is like a really shit version of that, mixed with the tank chase in The Last Crusade.
That's what I've actually wrote as well. I think it's because they've like crammed the entire cast into one tank.
Yeah.
So you've got like lots of people ADR'd over each other, like supposed to have this kind of witty banter.
Yeah, and I feel like they've made that Sir Desmond character like the comic relief. He's like him, the Marcus Brody of the film.
Yeah. That's it. He's comic relief with a bazooka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that made me think as well. It's like you've got Gary Daniels as the film's like main action hero, and in that tank sequence, the all he gets to do really is you just get close-ups of his eye on the little viewfinder.
Yeah, he's not really doing anything.
He's not doing anything. If you're an action hero, you want to be the one holding the bazooka or the machine gun or flying kick in a tank.
Yeah.
No, that seems to be what he's qualified for.
Yeah, it's the ambassador that's doing all the shooting and getting the bullet wounds and things like that.
It reminds me of like the book version of Patriot Games that has like Prince Charles with a Uzi.
With an Uzi.
And a machine gun.
Every time, actually, it's kind of funny after a bit. It becomes a bit beyond a joke that every time he says, the other tank fires and he goes, incoming!
Yeah.
Every shot misses.
Including the part where they're stuck in the snow for about a minute solid and they can't move.
And they're in the minefield. And is he shooting the mines ahead of the tank so it can drive through the field?
That's what I thought. The mines that have been very delicately placed on top of the snow.
And even if you look at the explosions that they've got for the mines, there's no way that explosion would damage that tank.
No.
It might move it a centimetre.
Yeah. It's like those little bad boy bangers that you can get. Those little tiny fireworks.
Or those little, what are they called? It looks like, it's like a bit of explosive crystals inside a tiny bit of paper and you just throw them at people's feet in the school ground.
The other thing that baffled me, So after the helicopter gets hijacked and then they get brought to the something that looks very similar to it looks like they've cherry picked all the Pierce Brosnan films released at this time, because that whole camp looks very much like the terrorist bazaar at the beginning of Tomorrow Never Dies as well. So when they get brought there and Alexi's there, I have no idea how she got there or anything. She's just magically there.
But that's it. I thought that she was like a double crossing.
Yeah, I thought she was, but she wasn't.
But it never came to pass.
No, the movie wasn't that clever.
No. Yeah, it kept us going with the promise of more wet kissing sounds to come.
Yeah.
Speaking of wet kissing,
Ooh.
probably get ready.
That is never a segue that I want to hear, mate. That is already has me on edge.
My favourite shot and my favourite line both come, not from the same scene, but both come at the end of the film, actually. My favourite shot is the one that's really obviously stretching for that runtime, which is the champagne opening shot, where it just cuts to him. She's in the background, facing away from camera, doing the hair, and he's got no top on, facing the camera through the mirror.
Yes, it's the film's most artistic shot.
Yeah. Like, it could easily be black and white and noir. And he's doing some sort of voiceover about how the bottle feels. But no, he takes the whole time to open that champagne bottle really slowly. And it scares him when it pops.
Yeah. I wrote down his champagne.
A real secret agent.
Yeah. I wrote down in my notes, his champagne went off prematurely.
Yeah, it totally did. And there was no froth or anything. It was just like it was an anticlimax.
It was flat.
Yeah.
I could imagine him turning around going, I usually perform better than this, love.
Yeah.
He's got performance anxiety from opening that bottle.
That's it. The way that it made him jump makes me think that he's got like PTSD or something. And the next 10 minutes should be just him stood in the corner of the room staring at the wall.
The next shot is her coming into the shower, a cold shower, and he's sat down rocking.
I broke a man's neck yesterday.
I hear the crack in my dreams.
It was like paper.
His neck was so fucking flimsy.
I think he had just had surgery.
He's made of paper. It's like that sketch in Armando Iannucci when everything's made of paper.
I've not seen that one.
And my favourite line of dialogue in the entire film was when, towards the end, they get a grenade thrown at them.
Oh, yes.
And she fumbles around with it. Then he picks it up and throws it back. But the guy who throws it and goes, "You must die."
That whole grenade section lasts about like 90 seconds as well.
Yeah.
And at one point, like he goes, "Pick up the grenade," and she fumbles it, and then he goes, "Leave the grenade." And it's like, so much happens to this grenade. This grenade has its own character arc in this film. That's how long it's in the film for.
The best bit in that final action sequence, like, I don't know where they shot it. Obviously some abandoned building somewhere, but you can clearly see...
Chernobyl.
No, but you can clearly see in the background just people walking around on the street every day.
Yeah.
There's someone catches a bus in the background. Like...
What? In what shot? In what scene?
Yeah, so
when
the
they're throwing the grenades?
Yeah, and when, just before the guy gets blown up with the bazooka, like, you can see in the background, when you get a long shot and you can see all the levels of the building and what's behind it, it's just a normal street in Bulgaria at the back, and someone genuinely catches a bus or something, or a bus goes by. Yeah,
You're getting a bus out of there.
And they didn't bother to like cover that up or shoot in another direction or anything like that.
Actually, let's discuss that that scene where he gets shot with a bazooka, because while Strong's lying down and Uno Eyebrow comes up, he's got the shot on Strong before Strong finds the conveniently placed rocket launcher, the bazooka. He's got the shot on Strong, just doesn't take it.
There's a lot of scenes where people just wait to be shot.
Oh,
It's like, I have you now. And then like 90 seconds of silence follows as Strong fumbles across the ground for a gun.
No one can shoot in this film. People shoot each other and they're about half a mile off. Like that tank chase, when he's shooting with the bazooka, it's like nowhere near. Like obviously they probably had like, we can't like damage the tank because it's on loan, so we have to like do the explosion like 100 meters to the left or something.
The thing is, I want to speak about this action scene as well. One of the things that I wrote in my notes was that like a moment ago they were in the fancy hotel that they were supposed to be staying at.
Yeah.
They exit the fancy hotel and they're in like an abandoned warehouse / Chernobyl-esque type of environment. And it's like, you folks are in the wrong hotel. You've chosen poorly. This has got terrible Yelp reviews. Did anybody check? And I do feel like most of this film was just shot around the same hotel location that they had. They shot in the car park. They shot in the little restaurant area. They shot in the rooms, and they pretended that the foyer was an airport.
Yeah, it's a very beige film, isn't it? Like, if it was food, it'd be chips, something with batter on it, and bread.
I like chips too much for that.
But it certainly is. It's very sort of flat looking from a colour perspective.
Yeah.
So thanks for the agreement there. You're not wrong.
It does bring us to like the best soap opera ending of a film that I've ever seen as well, with him having this moment, the very final scene is him having a moment with the woman on the balcony, which, Andy, you've mentioned before, it does seem like a setup for a sequel as well.
Yeah.
But even with the music that's playing and everything like that, it feels like some sort of Bulgarian soap opera.
I love the fact that they're supposed to be back in the UK at that point, but it's very clearly a Bulgarian house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really odd that whole character is just why.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why she's in the film. Like, is it a favor or something? I don't understand. She's in lots of other stuff. I looked her up as well. Like, she's been in lots of things, which is how I found out she was genuine in Italian.
Yeah, I saw somebody make a comment on her being in the film
Yeah.
as well. Like, and saying, oh, if you're watching it for such a person, don't bother, she's only in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And also, like, both Captain Strong and her have this moment in the M character's office while he's just still sat behind his desk. He might not even be wearing trousers. He's just like so firmly placed behind that desk. And they have this like supposed to be simmering conversation while they eye fuck each other. And Desmond's just sat across the room like, oh, hey, da 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 da. Not even
That's
a
supposed to be
comment.
his wife as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually wrote like, oh, he's definitely going to shag the boss's wife. Nothing happened. It was like, yeah, I was waiting for a climax that didn't come.
It was the character equivalent of dry humping for 10 hours.
There is one thing in this film which I think does the James Bond thing better than a James Bond film.
The cinematography.
Well, no. But there's that.
The script.
Well, do you remember when we were talking about Quantum of Solace and we were talking about some of the questionable dialogue, and we were talking about when Daniel Craig shoots that guy through the car window and it says, you and I have a mutual friend.
Yeah.
But in this film, Captain Strong does a similar thing to Christoph Waltz's character, but he has a much better line. He says, say goodbye, Genghis.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
And
the
then
most...
Christoph Waltz flails his shoulders about.
That was so anticlimactic as well. Like, considering he's meant to be the main... Well, to be honest, Unibrow was the main bad guy.
He was, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I thought that the big twist was going to be like, oh, he's wounded, but he's come back at the end, and he's got some sort of gross thing on his face where the bullets hit him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nope.
Unibrow was definitely the main villain of this
Yeah.
film.
And they definitely only had Christoph Waltz for 3 days.
Yeah. What was the thing they say beforehand about Genghis Khan? Don't they? There's some line where they're talking about how he. Oh, is it how he? It was from the country that that their empire started or moved or something like that.
Yeah, he's talking about the Mongols, I think, going across this country. Because he was supposed to be, isn't he supposed to be like uniting lots of different neighbouring countries as well?
So, yeah, something like that.
I actually wrote down Christoph Waltz's character's name just because it made me laugh. Ali Ben Sam.
Yeah.
That was his name. Sam with 2 M's.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone wants to be proper.
So, guys, was this film worth the price? A game of pass the parcel or 20p from cash converters?
Yeah,
Guys?
I think 20p is a good price for this film. I would be okay with having purchased. I mean, we had a really bad one last week.
Once again. Sorry.
So I'm back to thinking that this was an hour and a half that I
Just
laughed.
stinking.
Stinking. Well, I haven't showered yet. It's early morning. But yeah, I'm thinking that this is definitely worth the price, 20p. I think it's well spent.
Yeah, I agree fully. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
That's right as well. I mean, I whizzed through it on YouTube a few days before watching it, and I put it off till the last minute because I thought, this looks like a slog. And when I actually watched it, I had I enjoyed it far more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept having to pause because I was worried of running the risk of missing something when I was writing down a note. So, unlike St. Francisville, which is boring as fuck, I actually paused it every time I wrote something down for, like I said, just in case another genius line of dialogue or something popped up.
It took you 5 hours to watch the film.
Yeah, I made up their running time for them.
Yeah, I think it was worthwhile, and the description was definitely accurate on the box with the knockoff James Bond. It did not
totally
disappoint me in that
I
way.
actually wrote as well, like as a basic thing to say at the very beginning of the episode was, if you want to see a Bond film with none of the talent, none of the charm, and none of the sex appeal, watch Spectre. If you don't have Spectre, watch The Queen's Messenger.
That's the question I want to ask as well. Like, considering Christoph Waltz is also in this film, which character was better?
Ooh, that's a toughie.
And the thing is, it's not even like that's actually quite a hard question because the character that they wrote in Spectre is so poor.
Yeah, I'd say there's less shoulder acting in Spectre.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'd say for shoulders
There's
alone,
more shadow acting in Spectre.
Yeah. And he's not in this enough. That's the one criticism I would have. Is for as like flamboyant as Christoph Waltz is, you need him in your films. He's not in this one enough. He's clearly only on set for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I want more Christoph Waltz in this film.
Yeah,
me too.
I think his actual backstory and I think that's the only genuine thing that actually they had something at some point, and like that whole Ali Ben Sam character could have been really interesting in a better film.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way, the character is actually stronger than his portrayal of Blofeld in Spectre, but he's just not in it enough to really sort of come into his own.
I actually pictured Quentin Tarantino watching this film.
Oh yeah,
he's going through the Inglourious Bastards casting, and that's the guy that I want. Look at the shoulders on him.
I was actually thinking about that because if you look at his filmography, there's not that many English language films. Around this time, I think the only other film that he did around this time that was English language was Ordinary Decent Criminal with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
and everything else is just German. Mainly TV movies, actually.
Well, he was known as being a TV actor when he was cast in Inglourious Bastards. I remember, like, that's how they build him as, not as a German movie star, but as a German TV actor.
Because he was in a lot of series and a lot of TV movies, but very few actual, like, theatrical movies.
Yeah.
Up until that point. But yeah, it's really strange seeing him in this film. Like, when he pops up, it's like, he's too good to be in this film.
But I'm glad he's here.
But I think it was a pleasant surprise. Okay, so for our next episode, it is Gas's turn. Sorry, it is for our next episode. It's Gareth's turn to pick a film. So let us know what we'll be watching next time.
Okay, so I had a few choices. I was kind of spoiled for choice on this one, and I had two picks to go from. One was really quite obscure, and the other one was quite popular. And for this one, I've decided I'm going to save the obscure one for a later episode. It does seem to be something special, but it's far less likely that any of our listeners will have seen it. So I'm going to go for the bigger one, really. We've been through a couple of films that are very obscure, so let's go with a bigger film. And I've decided, I managed to find it for under £1. We are watching, folks, RoboCop 3.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best delivery of that title, bro.
I was thinking, is it going to be RoboCop the newer one, or is it going to be one of the sequels?
No. I was actually looking.
Or is it going to be one of those Prime Directive?
That's exactly what I was looking for,
movies.
but they were too expensive. They were just far too expensive, and I could find RoboCop 3 for under £1.
Oh, dear.
And I'll go into detail of that soon. But I haven't seen this one since I was a kid, but I remember it may be worth us discussing.
Sounds good to me.
So RoboCop 3. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this foray into the world of knockoff spy adventures. But until next time, I've been Andy.
I've been Gareth.
And I've been Aidan.
Thanks for listening.